I welcome you to Introduction to iOS Mobile Application Development course. Myself, Vasant G. Bhatt. I'm an iOS trainer and also an iOS mobile application developer by profession. I have close to 8 years of experience. So without wasting much of our time, let us get into the classes. So before understanding iOS, let us first understand what is an operating system. So operating system is an intermediate between the user interface and the system hardware. So putting in very simple terms, so you open your laptop and you click on a folder. As soon as you click on a folder, you are interacting with the user interface. As a response to that, folder gets opened and whatever the files inside the folder will be visible to you. So getting the files from hard disk or some storage, showing it to the UI is a process that was taken care by the operating system. So user will not directly interact with the system hardware. So system hardware, I mean the processor, RAM, ROM, hard disk. So operating system takes care of interacting with all of this. So what are the example for operating system? Windows, Mac OS, Linux, flavors like Ubuntu, which are a part of Linux itself, and coming to the mobile, Android, iOS. So all of these are the operating system which interact with the hardware. So now iOS, as you already know, is an operating system that runs on iPhone, iPad, iPods, Apple TVs, and even on the Apple Watches. So an iOS or any operating system, they are also software. So every software has to be written in some or the other languages, correct? So iOS as an operating system is written with the help of a programming language called Objective-C. So this is the language where a operating system is developed. So but if you want to develop an app that runs on iOS, say for example iOS WhatsApp Skype app, WhatsApp or Skype app for iOS. So if you have to develop apps like that, then you have to use programming language like Objective-C or Swift. Since Swift is the latest language that was introduced by Apple, and also every year Apple is releasing new updates for this, our course is outlined on Swift itself. So we will be learning the iOS mobile application development with the help of Swift. Next, what are the prerequisites that you should have if you have to take this course? The first one is MacBook or iMac. So MacBook, I mean the Apple laptop, iMac, I mean the Apple desktops, or thin client also it is called. So now, is it necessary to have a MacBook or Apple computers? Yes, it is. So though there are some people say you can develop iOS apps with the help of installing Apple OS on VMwares on Windows or Linux machine, it is not recommended for the full-fledged development, the first thing. Secondly, it is illegal to use Apple software on any other hardware other than Apple. So I strictly not recommend you to use any virtual machines to learn the iOS mobile application development. It is preferred to have a MacBook or iMac. Second one is Xcode. Xcode is an IDE by Apple. So everything that is required for mobile application development with the help of iOS is present on Xcode. So from starting a single line of code till the deployment, all the things are embedded in Xcode itself. So this would be the only piece of software that is required for the development of the iOS app. Third is iPhone. So iPhone, as I written there, it is not necessary for all the features. So whenever you have to test certain native features like camera or Bluetooth or push notifications, so a real-time features or native features which are available only on your physical phone, to test such features you need an iPhone. Last is knowledge of Swift. So this is required for learning the iOS mobile application development, but this comes as a part of course. I'll be teaching the Swift. Now, who are targeted audience? So targeted audience for this course is anyone with a basic understanding of the programming knowledge. So basic understanding of the programming knowledge, I mean you need not to have something extraordinary skills like just to write a merge sort on the go or quick sort or taking some 1 GB of data and extracting some analytics out of it. No, those things are not required. A minimum coding knowledge like how to print some statements in any language, how to get user inputs and sum the values and show it to the user, how to print hello world. or what are condition statements, if, else, for, while. So all these things, the basic programming constraints, if you are aware in any language, is fine. But if you have a knowledge on object-oriented programming languages like C Sharp, Java, Python, etc., is highly appreciated. Why? Because Swift is a language that is very similar to Java or C Sharp. So knowledge of either of this will help you very much in taking this course. So now, before start development of developing the iOS apps, it is good if you know some advantages of iOS or what are the unique things about iPhone or iOS apps. So that will make you proud when you are developing an app, or at least it will make you satisfactory while you are developing an app. Okay. So the first thing is the user interface. So anybody of you, if you have got a chance to look at the iPhone, you might have already observed this. User interface is the first thing that attracts every user towards the iPhone. They have a very strict rules in making the user interface. This the heights of the button, the width of the button, how a text should be aligned, what should be the font size, how many layers of navigation has to be given inside the app. So all of these are strictly ruled, are strictly controlled by Apple. They have given guidelines for each of the thing. It is not that if you violate one, Apple will not allow your app in the store. It may, but if you are violating all the rules and if you are trying to mimic the UI of some other OS like Android into iPhone, obviously your app will not be accepted. So because of this reason, many people attract towards the iPhone. Second is much faster. This is also one of the noun thing if you're using iPhone or if you got a chance to use iPhone. Android phones, if you used whatever the amount you have paid and you have taken the phone, after 2 years or at least after 3 years, the phone will become slow. So though there will not be any fault in the phone or in any fault in the hardware that you have, phone eventually becomes slow. But Android, you never, or in iOS, you never observe this. People who are having iPhone 5 still have the same speed as that of maybe iPhone 8 or iPhone X. That speed will be given for all the versions. And one more reason why iPhone is fast is iPhone forcefully updates all the user to its recent OS. Say for example, now iOS 12 is released, all the 90% of the iPhone users will be forcefully migrated to iOS 12 so that they get a chance to experience the speed or the enhancement that are done in the that particular OS. Third one is security. This is one of the key feature why everybody likes iPhone. So this could be sometimes problematic, but iOS is great in giving the security. So let us take a simple example where in Android you can easily share your apps, maybe with any of the chatting apps or with the help of file sharing apps, and somebody whoever gets those app, they can install it and they can run on their machine just by enabling a check of that allow third party apps on my phone in settings. You are free to install any APK. So what if an APK contains some viruses or something malicious contents, and you installed it and your phone hangs, or it will be getting data and sending it to the server or something like that. So all these problems can happen in iOS, Android, but they will never happen in iOS because you cannot send and share an iOS executable. It is IPA or .app to any of your whoever you want, and they can't install it like just like that. So there are a lot of procedures to share an APK. This is one thing regarding the security. There are many other like the way Apple has introduced the Face ID to unlock the phone. So all of these are like the key feature where Apple very much concerns about the security of an individual. And the last point is ease of development. So if you are aware of the Swift or any Swift is just a language. Other than that, if you are aware of a basic programming concept, then the development of iOS app is very easy. It's not at all difficult. And Apple as an environment is designed in such a way you can't make certain errors. So the errors are putting in another way, the errors which can be easily done in some other platforms can't be done in iOS or Apple. So you will understand when we are developing apps in our later sections. Okay. So after understanding the advantages of using the iPhone, it is necessary to understand certain limitations or little disadvantages of iPhone. Okay. So all the disadvantages that I mentioned here may not be disadvantages. There are such things that are like little unique in iPhone or some features that are not available to iPhone, I'm just highlighting here. The first thing is price. Everybody are aware of it. Apple price is too high. I mean, everybody can't afford an Apple phone. That is a fundamental thing. But putting in other way, Apple or the money whatever you pay, it is worth. So rather than taking three phones across 5 years, you can take one Apple phones for 5 years. So that is the level of quality that they give. So the price whatever they charge is compromised with that, is what my opinion. But definitely it is high for a normal guy who gets a regular pay. Second one is memory. So memory, I'm not telling like Apple is not giving enough memory to the user, but memory is also concerned with the cost part itself. So I'm just opened Amazon website, okay, so where you can see this is the Amazon real-time website of Apple iPhone XS Max, okay. So there are three different versions: 64 GB, 250 GB, and 512 GB. Okay, so 64 GB will cost you around 1,09,000. So if you go to the 256 GB version, it will cost you around 1,24,000 and some change. So there are close to 14,000 difference for a little bit of memory enhancement. So in that 14,000 amount, you can purchase a 2 TB of hard disk. So I don't know how Apple justifies it. So that is the reason I have given here. Memory is a problem with the help of, I mean, to memory is, I mean, it comes at a very higher cost. So that is the problem. Third one is the limited customization. So this is obvious. The in Android you all might have installed some theming apps which will change the look and feel of the phone itself, the complete look and feel. You can install some keyboard layouts with this gold shapes or some water dropping, or all the things are possible in case of Android. So those customizations are not there in iPhone. And the last one is file sharing. So this is one of key disadvantage or key problem I can tell. So Apple allows file sharing easily with easily between iPhone to iPhone, but whenever it comes to other operating system phones like Android or BlackBerry, it is too difficult. So there are certain apps like Share It or Bluetooth, you Share It or some any other, not Bluetooth, sorry. So but the sharing with those apps is not as easy. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So file sharing is a really problem. And again, this is made only to ensure that security, so that some malicious files are not shared between the not shared between some other operating system phone and the iPhone. So apart from these disadvantages, that could be few more which if you want to you can list, but still putting this apart, iPhone or iOS is a great tool to use and develop any apps. So it'll be it'll be like enjoying to develop the iOS apps. Okay. So after this, let us just I'll give you a course outline, how the course is gonna be and what are the things that we are gonna learn. So course outline, the overall course is divided into three main parts. The first one is introduction to Swift. So this is in this particular section we will be learning the Swift as a programming language. So the various programming constraints of Swift, like how to declare a variable, how to add two numbers, how to print some value and show it to the user, or how to create a functions, what are data types, what are the data available in Swift, and what are the things that are unique only in Swift and not there in any other language. So all these things we need to learn, or we will be learning in this particular session. Next is iOS mobile application development. So once you are understood the Swift, you use the same Swift to develop the iOS apps. So you will be creating the apps and you will be adding the text boxes, buttons, graphics, and you will be increasing the performance with multi-core. All of that will be done in this particular section. The last section is a sample project where you will be creating a dummy project. I mean, maybe it will be very close to a app that you use regularly. So all the constraints or all the topics that are covered in the iOS mobile application development section we will be using in developing a sample project. So at the end of the session, you will be able to understand how to develop an app. And I don't simply lie that you will be able to develop apps like WhatsApp or Skype at the end of the session, but obviously you will be able to identify what are the elements that might have been used in the apps like WhatsApp or Skype. So if you see a slider in WhatsApp, you'll be able to think, oh, which component might have been used for the sliding section. Or if the messaging UI, as soon as you send, pop-up will be created. So which how they might have developed this. All these things you can think, or all these things you can develop with the help of the by end of this course.